you are hailed as a Super Bowl contender, and you only beat a team that tied with the Cardinals by 4, there's a problem. Feels like forever since I've done one of these episodes, but now's as good a time as any. Holy crap, we look terrible.
Yep, I agree. Offense looks fine. I did see some people saying today, though, that Mahomes played a bad game. I don't think Mahomes played a bad game at all. I think it was just the rest of the team pissing away every single chance they got to score.
I don't know if he missed a lot of throws, or if there was, miscommunications, but there was something definitely wrong going on during some of those deep shots.
Yeah. I know on one play for sure, Demarcus Robinson, he was supposed to break on the route and turn around and come back and catch it, but instead he just kept running, so Mahomes threw the ball and it went right past him. So yeah, a lot of miscommunication.
0 touchdowns for Mahomes.
Yeah, which sucks, but like I said, it was just one of those games where it's like, I just want to win and get the hell out. I don't care how we score. I don't care when we score. I just want to win. And it almost reminded me of that Jaguars game last year where he didn't have a single touchdown or whatever, but the defense showed out, and that's what happened today, except the defense didn't show out, and they were lucky to even get through.
At no point in this entire game did I think that we were going to walk away with a win. After the first drive, I thought, crap, we're going to lose this game. And I tweeted out today that I think the Chiefs are pretty much the new Steelers, and this was a Steelers type of game, playing down to inferior competition. And I think it might be because the Lions have that Patriot-style defense with Matt Patricia, but at the same time, this is a team that is built, and their one goal is to beat New England and win the Super Bowl. If they come out and pull crap like that, we're not going to do that.
Yep, annual Andy Reid letdown game is what I like to call it. They avoided it today, but also it scares me to think what could have happened if this team actually had T.J. Hawkinson the whole game and Darius Slay actually played, and Mike Daniels.
We got lucky.
Super lucky.
And what the hell is going on with Harrison? That was a bad missed kick.
Oh, Harrison Butker? Yeah. I was saying at the end of the game there, I want the Chiefs to go for a touchdown. I hope Andy Reid doesn't get conservative because I do not trust Harrison Butker to make a field goal in the clutch anymore.
What happened last time we went to overtime?
He missed. I remember that Ravens game last year. We wouldn't even have gone to overtime if he just would have made the field goal.
Last overtime game we went to was the AFC Conference Championship.
Yep.
I never want to go to overtime again.
You just can't trust this team. It seems like they're, like you said, new Steelers playing down in the competition.
Oh, but it's an entertaining game. We should enjoy this. That's another thing that pisses me off that people constantly say is, my favorite game last year was the Bengals game. We came out there and we beat them in every aspect of the game of football, and it was fantastic. Now, a lot of people would say their favorite game was the Rams game, one of the highest scoring games in NFL history, but we lost. I don't understand how anybody can... I don't understand how anybody can ever be satisfied and enjoy a game in which we lose or a game in which we were close in. Yeah, it's a nice feeling when you win a close game, but this was too close.
Yeah, if you're just another fan from another team watching, it can be entertaining, but for me, I legitimately think it's taking years off my life watching this team.
Chiefs fans have strong hearts, because they've been pulling this crap since the 70s.
Yeah, and they signed up for it when they hired Andy Reid.
I tweeted out today, Andy Reid needs to go. And I fully believe that. I don't think he can win a Super Bowl. Oh, but he went to one in Philly. Keyword there is went. He didn't win it. He went to it. With Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to do it again. He's been coaching for, 20 years now? Something like that?
Yeah. Honestly, I will give Andy Reid a chance to win this. I don't think he should be fired, but if this year they just totally botched their like if somehow like they slip up and let the Chargers win the division, or they lose in like the divisional round or something like that, or they just like don't even show up to the AFC Championship game, I think it's time to question Andy Reid's job security.
Absolutely. But
because this team is way too talented not to win. What do you think Belichick would do with this roster?
Belichick would make Morris Claiborne into an All-Pro.
Probably.
And then he would utilize all the running backs. And Garrett Dieter would probably still be on the team and become an All-Pro.
Oh, yeah.
Those white no-name position players. This game just infuriates me. Like, I don't even care that we won. We should treat this like a loss, because we look terrible.
Yeah, just an update, too. For Mizzou fans listening to the podcast, Sean Colkin tore his Achilles today playing for the Chargers, and he's out for the year.
That's tough. Chase Daniel's playing.
Yeah, he's actually better than Trubisky.
Is that hard?
Probably not.
Honestly, it would be pretty badass to see Chase Daniel. The Bears' defense is capable of winning a Super Bowl, so I would love to see, if the Chiefs can't do it, Chase Daniel lead that Bears team to a Super Bowl, become the next Nick Foles or something.
That would give Mizzou people so much hope.
I love Chase.
But you know what? It kind of pisses me off because like last year, well not last year, but the year before that, the Chiefs beat both of the teams that were in the Super Bowl, the Eagles and the Patriots. They beat both of those teams, and those teams ended up meeting in the Super Bowl, and then it's like the Chiefs can't even make it. It just pisses me off so much.
We did that again, Super Bowl 49. We beat the Seahawks and the Patriots that year. And then that was the year we benched Brady at Arrowhead.
Yeah, where we just totally blew him out.
Yeah. Why couldn't we do that in the AFC Championship game?
Andy Reid.
This team, I don't care how much talent you put on the team, but this team, I don't think can win a Super Bowl with the talent they have on it right now. I just don't believe in a lot of the players. Like, a couple guys that come to mind: Eric Fisher, Anthony Hitchens, Frank Clark. I don't believe in any of those guys, and I don't believe in any of the corners except Breland.
Yeah, and it's weird because like if you look up and down the roster on paper, it's like these guys. Like I feel like if you gave them to any other head coach, they would be able to make a competent defense out of them. It's like they have names, they have guys who have the athletic ability to make a good defense, but it's just for some reason they just are not clicking at all.
I wish we would have signed Ronald Darby when he was visiting here. I know he's kind of sucked, but still, he'd
just somebody.
He'd at least be competent.
Yeah, I would have rather overpaid for Darquez Denard.
Yeah, but people are always saying, giving up 2 first-round picks for a cornerback is overpaying. We have a team that can win a Super Bowl. We're good enough to do it. No, we're not. Get Jalen Ramsey, Ward, 2 firsts and a third. Make it happen.
You know what? While I was watching this game today, I remember. Well, but prior to the game, I was like, I don't know if I would. If they traded 2 firsts for Ramsey, like I'd be okay with it, but I wouldn't be super happy about it. Now, after watching today, I'd trade 3 firsts for Jalen Ramsey.
Just whatever gets it done.
Yeah,
I wouldn't care if we didn't even re-sign him. If we just had him for 1 year just to win the Super Bowl,
yeah,
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, because other Chiefs fans, they want longevity. They want draft picks so they can be competitive for years on end. But it's like, that doesn't guarantee you a Super Bowl. If you get Jalen Ramsey right now, it almost guarantees you a Super Bowl. And that's what I want.
Which would you rather have? 1 ring or consistent playoff failure for the next decade like we already are doing?
1 ring. That's all I want. Mahomes will figure out the rest later.
If you look at Dan Marino's career stats, So far, him and Mahomes' career stats, like from their rookie year on, are pretty similar. Like Dan Marino didn't win the MVP his first year as a starter, but they were both game breakers and put up numbers no one else had really ever seen their first couple years. I don't want Mahomes to be Dan Marino. I heard somebody say that they want him to have a career like John Elway, where he's just good for a while and then he retires after 2 rings in a row. I don't want that. I would rather have
Yeah,
him be Ben Roethlisberger. Just win one quick and just be good after that.
yeah, be a
Minus the
stat.
rape.
Yeah, I just want to see him take down Tom Brady in the playoffs once, win a Super Bowl, and then whatever happens after that, I don't really care.
I don't care who takes down Tom Brady. I just want him gone.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is legitimately the worst thing to ever happen to sports, period.
Yeah, just to go back on Jalen Ramsey real quick. Honestly, after watching it today, would Jalen Ramsey even help enough for this defense? Because they just look terrible in every aspect of the game.
What Jalen Ramsey would do is Jalen Ramsey can play slot corner or both outside corners. So Jalen Ramsey, what he does is he follows a certain receiver and just takes him out of the game. That could have really helped, especially today where Kenny Galladay was the receiver that was really hurting us. If Jalen Ramsey could have been there and completely took him out of the game, and then you have Bashad Breeland on the other side and Kendall Fuller hanging on for dear life in the slot, that would be an improvement.
Kendall Fuller hanging on for dear life in the slot. I love that. Yeah, and you know what? I think the Lions ended up finishing with like 180 rushing yards today or something like that. That's just unacceptable. Kerryon Johnson was averaging like less than 3 yards per carry coming in today. Into today, the Ravens they've always been a good rushing attack, but we gave up over 200 yards to them. It's just the run and all season we are talking about. Oh, this guy can stop the run. Damian Wilson, that guy. I heard he can stop the run. Frank Clark can play the run. Emmanuel Ogbah, yeah, he can stuff the run. All these guys that can apparently save the run defense haven't done shit.
A lot of people might not even remember him, but you know who I'm really missing right now?
Who?
Rakeem Nunez-Roches.
Oh yeah, that dude. I love that dude. I hated when we got rid of him because he was energetic. I was like, this dude and Chris Jones are pretty good interior.
He was cheap, energetic, and he could actually make tackles in the backfield.
Oh yeah.
Might as well just trade for him. He's on the Buccaneers. I think William Golston's over him right now.
Yeah, I was gonna look him up because this is that guy. He probably knows our defense a little bit because even though we've gotten a whole new regime and scheme and everything, I know Andy Reid has word on the defense and everything like that. So if we could bring him back, that would be a huge. I would love that.
That'd be really helpful. Rotate him in at both defensive tackle and end.
He still tweets about the Chiefs all the time too.
He was such a nice guy, and he was good and cheap, so there was absolutely no reason for us to cut him, but
yeah.
I want Derek Johnson as a linebackers coach too. But that might be asking for too much.
Shoot, I would ask him to play right now over Hitchens.
Hitchens sucks. Thank you. Oh my god. Hitchens is being paid what? His original contract was for $9 million, but he took a pay cut. So,
you know what? Like, see, the thing is like, Hitchens, when he has a straight line, like, route to the tackle, and, like, he knows what he's going for, if he just has, like, a straight line to the ball carrier, he will make the tackle, and he'll make it pretty good. But if he even gets blocked by the slightest dude on the other team, he's already out of the play.
One of the things I criticize him about is I say he can't cover, but, like, of course, like you said, he's there to stop the run, and he's not supposed to cover. But the problem is he does cover, and he's not good at it. So why does he do it? Is it just because there's no one else there to cover?
Yeah, and the Lions, like, their fans were mad today because of that one catch, I think it was Galladay or something, almost had over Hitchens, but they didn't call pass interference or something like that, and it was incomplete. They got a little bit lucky there.
We got lucky on that one Kenny Galladay touchdown. That was wobbling the entire time.
Yeah.
That was close. That was damn close. You know, I love how everyone was like predicting before this game, Patrick Mahomes is gonna completely dismantle the Lions defense. Oh, his last pass in a dome was that 70-yard touchdown to Hill.
About how the whole dome BS, about how he's just supposed to go off because he's not outside. Like, really, people?
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
This was one of his worst games.
Yeah, for sure. Not that he played horrible or anything, but not to the standard the fans were holding him to.
Chiefs fans, like casual Chiefs fans that just think everything is fantastic and we're going to go 19-0 and win the Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes is on the team and just having him on the team is going to make the team fantastic in every way and we're going to beat the Patriots because Tom Brady's old. That shit gets old really quickly.
This defense is not stopping anything. Like, they might even be worse than last year. I'm not sure.
The Patriots' offense at least sucks.
Yeah, honestly, the Bills should have won today. If Josh Allen was still in that game, I think they may have won. Sucks that they had to take him out.
They might get him round two.
Probably.
I could legitimately see the Bills winning that division. I love that defense. I just don't trust Josh Allen.
Dude, you know, I would kill to have the Bills defense. Like, just swap the Bills and the Chiefs defense, personnel, coaching, everything like that. Just give them our defense, we'll take theirs. I would love that.
Hell, just give us Trey White and Ed Oliver and we'd be significantly better.
Oh, for sure.
Ed Oliver, I said, was going to be the best player coming out of this last draft class. And he went to a damn good situation in Buffalo.
Yeah, I was glad he went there.
With Micah Hyde, Trey White, Ed Oliver, that defense is going to be scary for a while.
Yeah, their secondary is one of my favorites in the league.
I want just one of those, or I just want one good corner. Just one consistent corner that can go out there and play well. Bashaud Breeland has looked competent.
Yeah.
But no one else has.
Yeah, Kendall Fuller was supposed to be this team's number one corner. I'm pretty sure it's Bashaud Breeland at this point.
People were wanting to cut Breeland after preseason. Yeah, no.
It's pretty stupid. Because he's a solid tackler. He can play the run okay when he's asked to come up and do it. Although he's not supposed to. Like, you shouldn't have to ask your cornerback to be your best run defender. And then he's been decent in coverage.
What's Herb Miller doing nowadays?
No idea, but I'd take him over Ward right now. I have no idea how he even made the roster over Ward.
It's because Ward had a couple decent... Here's the thing about Ward to me. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He is the most unlucky cornerback I have ever seen. Like, even when he makes perfect coverage, he still gets burned.
He does, because he'll play the ball really well, and somehow the receiver he's guarding will just make a perfect catch over him, and it seems like the only play that he's ever made that's been worth a damn thing got called back because of D. Ford.
I'm just going to say it right now, that play stings in so many ways, but one of the ways it stings is that's going to be forever how the Chiefs remember D. Ford. That's another reason I wanted to keep him, because... You know, he had a fantastic season, and he was pretty good before that. And now all Chiefs fans are going to remember him for is he's the guy that blew the chance to go to the Super Bowl, even after he was a really good player. So that's one of the worst things about that play.
Yeah, he can actually get to the quarterback. And the other thing is, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a headline that came out last week where D. Ford admitted he played all of last year with a torn groin.
And we traded him.
Yep.
I would have kept him. Here's the thing. I hated the moves on the defense with the exception of, like, Agba. I liked the Agba move, and I liked signing Bashaud Breeland. Outside of that, and Tyrann. Tyrann, Bashaud, and Agba, that was it. which sounds like a lot, but we made so many defensive moves. I would have kept Justin Houston and D Ford. Notice they
Yeah.
both went to 4-3 teams.
And they've been playing fine.
Yeah. They've been playing better than the guys we have.
Honestly, outside of, like, he may even be ahead of Breland, but outside of Breland, I think the best defensive addition to this team might be Damian Wilson.
I've really liked him. I had no idea who he was when we signed him, but I watched like this 2-minute video of a guy analyzing a couple of his plays that he had against the Redskins, and I really fell in love with him from then on. I can't remember what the video was called, but it's one of the top results if you search Damian Wilson. But it's this Cowboys fan analyzing, I think it was like a run stop or something, and just talking about how he had like a nose for the football. But
yeah, because that's all he's been doing all year.
he's worlds better than Hitchens. I don't care.
Yeah, and he's paid significantly less, even with the pay cut.
Yeah. He was definitely a steal. And where the heck have Ragland and O'Daniel been?
Well, I know O'Daniel fell hard on the depth chart because he couldn't get any of the assignments right. I don't know what he's doing now. And then Ragland has just same thing. Like he just like he doesn't. Well, he can't cover for one. Like he's not fast enough to cover anyone. He's a good blitzer, so I don't know why he's not playing. And then also, I think he's a better run stopper than almost any linebacker we have.
Everyone always gives Ragland so much crap because he's slow. Yeah, he can't cover. Ragland is Hitchens but cheaper. He's slow. He can stop the run, and that's about it. And he can't cover. Having Ragland basically makes Hitchens useless because like Ragland is definitely a 3-4 linebacker. I wouldn't have been mad if we traded Ragland to a team that was still running a 3-4, but I'm not mad that we keep him because I like Bama guys and I like Reggie Ragland. But Reggie Ragland, like you said on blitzes, bring him in. I think he'd do just fine, better than Hitchens. But I think of course he can't cover. But just don't put him in a situation where he has to cover. Just bring him in on blitzes and let him go stop the run.
Yeah. And he can, like, if we were still running a 3-4, he could run in off the edge. He has the speed to do that compared to a normal D end, or outside linebacker, really. And then it's like, why even keep him on the roster if you're going to play him like 3 snaps a game?
Might as well just trade him to a team that could utilize him because he's not a bad player at all.
Yeah, he's decent.
And Sorensen also gets a lot of hate too.
Yeah, he actually made a couple plays today too.
Yeah, I saw it was some Chiefs page that tweeted out, and Danny Sorensen still sucks. I didn't notice any play where he did bad. I didn't even notice him on the field that much, but when he was on the field, he made one play, and that was the only time I ever noticed him.
Yeah, I always thought fans gave him way too much crap because he can actually do a lot of things well. He's just not meant to be a starting safety. And then when teams get to plan against him, they're always going to pick at him because he's not meant to be a starting safety. But when you're just rotating him in every once in a while, asking him to blitz or play hybrid linebacker or something like that, that's what he's great at.
He's a good sub linebacker.
Yeah.
And that's the role he's been in, and that's the role he's just today, and because he's good at it.
Yeah.
Jordan Lucas played like shit.
Yeah, and speaking of which, the whole special teams unit in general is god awful this year.
How the hell did that happen with Dave Tobe, Dustin Colquitt, Harrison Butker, James Winchester? I don't know how that happened.
I don't know, but honestly, I'm getting sick of the Dave Tobe love every week because this team is not being coached very well in special teams, and you can see it because it's like guys are fielding our punts and kicks from inside the 10 and trying to return it.
Yeah, that pissed me off so much. Like, I think Pringle and Dat both did that today, and I was just screaming at the TV, "Let it bounce!"
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
I'll bring in Dante Hall as a or special teams coach. He knows how to return kicks.
Or sign him as a player and let him take over for Hitchens.
Dante Hall?
Yeah.
You're going to put a kick returner at linebacker?
Yeah.
I guess he couldn't do any worse.
That's what I'm saying. Put him in for Hitchens.
I remember when we first drafted O'Daniel, everyone was, like, obsessed with him, like, thinking that he'd be the future at the linebacker position, and, oh, Reggie Ragland's worthless now. But O'Daniel hasn't done anything.
I'm not even sure I see him on the field anymore.
Yeah, I will say one player that I'm almost glad got injured is Breland Speaks.
Dude, honestly, like, Breland Speaks is okay. I thought he played okay in preseason, but I don't think he was ever going to make much noise in this rotation.
He'd be better at left tackle. Fat ass.
He's kind of got a Laramie Tunsil build.
What's the worst that's going to happen? He's going to play worse than Cam Irving?
Probably. I don't know if you've noticed, but they've been putting Deion Yeller or Blake Bell right next to Cam Irving in 2 tight end sets almost every time they need Cam Irving to block on that side on a play.
A lot of people are saying, like, you shouldn't do this because we don't know much about him, but I say what's the worst that's going to happen? Let's put Martinez Rankin out at left tackle.
Yeah, I just don't think he's ready. I don't know how much of the playbook he knows or whatever, but by now, I mean, I would throw him out there to see at least what he can do. He started like 4 games last year.
Well, he had some first-round grades coming into the draft, and if he sucks, we put Irving back in. If he's good, we found our replacement for Fisher. Easy.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of what happened last year with Morse and Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
Morse got hurt, we threw in Ryder, and who hasn't been playing well this year, but the entire offensive line has pissed me off.
I know, it seems like they can't do anything.
And I've noticed that Mahomes is significantly better when he doesn't stand in the pocket and go through his progressions. If he just rolls out to the right and just, I don't know, does a fire drill, just rolls out to the right and just finds the first person that's open.
Yeah, that's where most of his plays have come from. It seems like he's almost uncomfortable standing in the pocket because he almost expects to get tackled.
Yeah. Like, he seems more at home when he's outside of the pocket and just scrambling for dear life.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as he doesn't get decked every time, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if he just rolls out naturally.
Mm-hmm. And the problem is he has been getting decked a lot this year.
And, you know, if that happened to Tom Brady, well, that's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, luckily we've gotten a few of the calls, though.
I don't understand why they don't treat Mahomes like they do Brady, because Mahomes is a rising star, and it would be really bad for the brand if he, like, tore his ACL or something, or got a severe concussion or something. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why wouldn't you want to protect your next golden boy?
Mahomes, or probably because he plays for the Chiefs, Mahomes staying healthy is what's best for the Shield, so they should protect him, right?
Yeah, you would think.
I don't know, maybe it's just because, I don't know, bias against small markets or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I am petrified for Week 14.
Well, luckily we'll probably have most of the core back by then.
Tyreek will be back. Claiborne should be at 100%.
Yeah, Damian Williams will be back, which also, I've been seeing a lot of Chiefs fans talking crap on Damian Williams, already writing him off just because he got injured and was bad for a couple games, and I don't even put that on him because the O-line was terrible. But people forget how good Damian Williams was.
The thing with people are like, oh, Shady is going to take over for Damian Williams, and talking, like you said, talking crap on Damian Williams, but why not? Why do you have to pick one? Why don't you just do what the Patriots do and give them their strength? Like, what's Rex Burkhead's job? He gets first downs on 3rd and 1. That's all he does. What's James White's job? He catches passes. Why can't we do that?
I don't know, because honestly, like, Damian Williams, when he was playing, has been one of our best receivers out of the backfield.
You know, have Shady be our Sony Michel, have Darwin Thompson be our Rex Burkhead, and Damian Williams be our James White.
Yeah, and we still have Anthony Sherman, too.
Yeah. How many fullbacks can go out there and make plays?
Not many.
Maybe, 4?
I think a lot of teams don't even have a fullback on their roster anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of sad because it's always fun when a fullback scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what's a play that I think should be brought back?
What?
Hungry Pig Right.
Is that, wait, which one is that?
Dontari Poe.
Oh. Yeah. Was that the one where where they did a bunch or whatever, and he had caught that pass in a screen basically?
Yeah, that was the screen pass to him.
Yeah.
I
That
wouldn't.
was against the Raiders.
I wouldn't call the bloated Tebow pass that he did against the Broncos, but if it's 3rd and inches or something, put Chris Jones as slot receiver or as the target in a screen pass. So why not? Who's gonna tackle him in the secondary?
Yeah, and you know what? Now that you bring that up, a lot of people are saying Colin Saunders would be the next Dontari Poe. That's a pick that Veach dropped the ball on because there were still some cornerbacks available there, and Colin Saunders has been inactive every game this year.
Yeah, I liked the pick initially, but if he's not going to play, there's no point, especially when we have Derek Nottie. I think Colin Saunders is definitely better than Xavier Williams, but because Xavier Williams is trash.
He has the ability to be better than him for sure. I just don't know if he knows all the technique and stuff right now, but
he won't grab him by the face mask every play.
Yeah, he did that a ton today. Tano Passanio even had one where he grabbed the face mask, but they didn't call it. And speaking of Tano Passanio, he's actually been pretty damn good this year.
I called that. I said he was going to be good. People were saying we should cut him for Speaks. No.
I know, I hate that.
Passanio is good.
Yeah, it was just the problem was we tried to play him at a position that he never played before. And then whenever you put him back in his natural place where he has his hand in the dirt, he starts doing good again.
Yeah, people called me an idiot for this, but I said I would feel much more comfortable if we used that first round draft pick on Byron Murphy and then had a cap room, and then instead of Clark just went out there with Okafor, Agba, and Passanio.
Yeah, I would do that.
Especially if you bring in Byron Murphy.
Yeah, Byron Murphy was the best cornerback in that draft. Also, he's from Washington, a school that has produced a lot of D-backs that I like.
Marcus Peters.
Honestly, if we had Marcus Peters, I wouldn't have any questions about this secondary right now. I think he'd be good enough to where, Lamar Jackson isn't throwing up 50-50 balls that it seems like nobody on our team can get. Those are Marcus Peters interceptions.
Marcus drove me nuts. And I was sad when we traded him, but at the same time I wasn't. He was a problem, but he was our problem, Yeah.
I was okay with trading him. Just the problem was I was pissed at the compensation they got back for it. Because at the time, his stock was super high, and they got a second and a fourth for him.
I would have rather had... They said it could have been a second and Robert Quinn, or a second and Alec Ogletree.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And I would have taken either of them.
In hindsight, the best move probably would have been... At the time, if we would have taken one of the players, it probably would have been Ogletree. But in hindsight, we probably should have taken Quinn. Because who did that pick become?
I'm not sure. I was just about to ask that. It was a fourth rounder, so I'm trying to think who drafted in the fourth round over the past couple years.
I feel like...
They didn't have a fourth rounder this year, I don't think. So it had to have been last year. I don't think they did.
I'm not sure.
I'll look up the past couple draft classes, though. But honestly, now that I think of it, they might have used one of those picks to trade up.
Yeah. The only trade that I know for sure was Alex Smith, and in return we got Kendall Fuller and Dorian O'Daniel.
Yeah.
That worked out fantastic.
Well, seems like it now. I mean, Dorian O'Daniel, he's not seeing the field anymore, but at the time it seemed really good. Whenever we drafted O'Daniel, I liked him. And he can cover, too, which is weird. It's like, why are we not playing him?
We were playing Ben Neiman out there as our cover linebacker.
Yeah. And he was an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, so I think we really dropped the ball on that. Do you think Kendall Fuller gets an extension?
Probably not. I kind of wanted to extend him at the beginning of the year, but now after seeing him play, I don't think he's worth anything.
I think we need to extend Jones and let everyone else walk.
I just looked up the 2018 draft class, and I don't know for sure this is the Marcus Peters pick, but it was our 4th rounder from 2018. It was Armani Watts.
Ooh. I really, really liked that pick, but he just hasn't done much.
Yep. I don't even think he sees the field much anymore either.
He got a special teams tackle, but, with Honey Badger in there over him.
Yep. Sucks that he doesn't play.
I hope that Thornhill and Tyron can get their crap together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because they're two brand new safeties who have never played with each other before and are in a new scheme, but I don't know.
Yeah, Matthew I think has done fine. Like he should be a lot better than he is right now, but he's done okay. I would say Juan Thornhill, he hasn't really done any. Like he's made a couple good. He tackles better than Ron Parker, which isn't hard to do. But besides that.
I'm not trying to get nostalgic here, but do you remember Tyvon Branch?
Yep.
I don't know why we got rid of him, because he was really good.
Yeah, I think he's still looking for a job, too.
Give him a call. What's the worst that's going to happen?
I was honestly pissed that we did not pick up Trey Boston when we could the past 2 years.
I know, right? He's been really good. Heck, I would have even taken Eric Reed.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Like, there were defensive backs available, and now we're just like, oh, crap, no one's available. And press the panic button and get Mo Claiborne.
Mo Claiborne. yeah, I know. It's like, there were so many good players on the market. Like, Trey Boston was out there. Eric Reed. I'm trying to think of who else, because I think there was one other guy that I really wanted. But yeah, dude, Ron Parker, it's honestly hard to believe he was our starting safety for the past 2 years.
If the defense gets really bad, I don't even want to suggest having to do this, but if it, doesn't improve at all, do we give EB a call?
Honestly, EB cheap. You have to assume he's healthier than he was a few months ago. He knows our team. It wouldn't hurt.
Like we've said before, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yep.
Thornhill and Matthew both played some corner in college.
Yeah, and I wanted to see Eric Berry and Tyrann Mathieu together, too.
Yeah. If nobody wants EB and our defense sucks, I would like to see EB as a defensive backs coach, because I'm not a fan of our defensive backs coach.
Yeah, isn't that Dave Merritt?
Yeah. I don't think he's done a very good job.
He was with Arizona last year, I think, and which is even worse, why we didn't grab Trey Boston when that's where he was last year, and we had his coach and everything, and we still didn't even give him a shot.
I feel like we only hired him to try to get Patrick Peterson to request a trade, which we've been very open about how badly we want him.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's like, now that they have the opportunity to get Ramsey, if they don't give up what they can for him when he's available now because they're holding on to a Patrick Peterson pipe dream, I will be pissed.
Do whatever it takes to get better. I will gladly trade away the future to win a Super Bowl this year.
100%.
I'll do it in a heartbeat.
There's no guarantee we'll win one later on.
Yeah. Oh, but with Patrick Mahomes, everything's hunky-dory. 19-0.
Yep.
I hate casuals. There's...
You know what? I thought of the other guy that I was wanting the Chiefs to get when they were like in need of a safety.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him, but George Loka, when he got cut from the Bengals.
Isn't he still a free agent?
I think so. I think he was with the Cowboys for a little bit, but they liked one of their younger guys better, so they cut him.
Yeah, but people say, yeah, Aloka is a free agent, but, I think the Bengals made a bad decision, keeping Sean Williams over him, because I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, and then also, speaking of the Bengals and their safeties, somebody on their team that I so badly wanted in the draft, but instead we drafted Breeland Speaks. In fact, I think, he was taking a few picks after Breeland Speaks, or before, or something like that, I forget. Jesse Bates.
I wanted Dante Jackson.
I would take him, too. Anybody. Literally anyone is better than who we have out there right now.
And it's sad, because we're going to end up wasting the career of Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey. But we just need to do something.
If we don't win a Super Bowl with literally the best offense of all time on paper, it's not going to go over well for Andy Reid or anybody in the organization.
But I think we've made some detrimental decisions within the past couple years. Like, just off the top of my head, Veach's first draft was god-awful. I think he got almost every pick except Watts wrong. And, like, especially Breeland Speaks. My God, that pick was awful.
And we traded up for him.
Yeah! I was so excited. I'm sitting there, holy crap, we're actually being aggressive to try to get a cornerback. Nope. Instead, we got some fat ass from Ole Miss. Because they produce such good football players.
Yeah, I think, I saw like a stat or something like that, oh man, I'm going to look up that draft class again. Just keep going with what you were going to say, but I'm going to look up something.
I might be called a scumbag for this. I don't care. I think it was a mistake cutting Kareem Hunt, too.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I miss Kareem Hunt.
He is still my favorite running back I've ever watched.
He was just such a likable dude.
Until that video came out. If he'd be one of the...
See, what really pisses me off is we still would have had him, not because of the video, but for the fact that he lied.
Yeah. If he would have just told the truth, then we would have been fine.
Yeah, here. I've looked up the draft class again. This is the draft class. Breeland Speaks, round 2, pick 46. Derek Nottie, round 3, pick 75. Dorian O'Daniel, round 3, pick 100. Armani Watts, round 4, pick 124. Tremon Smith, round 6, 196. Khalil McKenzie, round 6, 198. The only player out of any of those draft picks that's playing right now is Derek Nottie.
Derek Nottie was a decent pick. At the time, I liked Nottie, Watts, and Tremon Smith. But in hindsight, here's one of the stupidest picks out of all of those. Khalil McKenzie. Couldn't we have taken Philip Lindsay then?
Yeah, we could have, because he was undrafted.
Imagine if that pick was Philip Lindsay instead of Khalil McKenzie.
We'd be sitting pretty well right now.
Yeah, but Khalil McKenzie, to this day, I will still say that we only took that to piss off the Raiders GM.
Oh, yeah, also, I remember. I think round 6, not too long after Tremon Smith, is when Desmond King got drafted.
Oh my God.
And I wanted him, because I remember watching that draft, and I was like, and they had, Mel Mel Kiper Jr.'s top 5 still available or whatever, and I've seen Desmond King. I was like, I really want this dude, and I saw some of his games from Iowa. I was like, Desmond King would be a really good pick. We just let him keep dropping and dropping. Eventually the Chargers took him in the round 7, I think.
See, that's just bad scouting by Veach. Everyone's always saying, oh, in Veach we trust. But do we? He's good at managing the cap to a certain extent. But in free agency, in open free agency, he's bad. Like, I think he's good, like, when it comes to managing contracts within the organization. But when it comes to open free agency, he overpaid Sammy Watkins, Tyrann Mathieu, and Anthony Hitchens.
Yeah, I feel like he just has like a fetish for certain players that nobody else would want for that type of money.
I know that Tyrann Mathieu and Earl Thomas had actually agreed to come play together in Kansas City, but then that Landon Collins deal broke, so Tyrann said, hey, I want more, so he got more, and then Earl Thomas was actually, I think he was getting ready, or no, he was on the phone with Coach Reed, and then his agent came in.
His interview said they were literally about to fly to Kansas City to discuss the final, details of the deal.
That makes me so mad.
And the thing is, we almost had him twice, because we almost had him in free agency, and then he broke his leg right before Veach was about to trade a third-rounder for him.
Dude, if we would have won the Super Bowl.
I know. That's literally all we needed. Imagine you upgrade Ron Parker with Earl Thomas.
Eric Berry might have gotten his sorry ass onto the field then. Like, 50% of Eric Berry with 100% of Earl Thomas. Name a better safety duo.
Ron Parker and Daniel Sorensen.
Soren...
A player that retired kind of early that I don't know if you remember that I would so take right now is Hussein Abdullah.
Dude, I loved him. When you say his name, I immediately think of that pick six against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, his prime was back when I had season tickets. He was so fun, but he retired because of concussions.
Yeah, he had 7 concussions, I think.
Yeah, but he was still a really fun player.
Yeah, he was kind of like what Juan Thornhill I'm hoping he turns out to be.
Yeah, he was kind of a ball hawk.
Yeah.
Juan Thornhill, I like the pick, and I'm rooting for him. He's seems like such a nice guy. He's wants to get on the field really badly, but he just has to do something, you know?
Yeah. And the top safety that I actually wanted was Nasir Adderley. Whenever the draft first started, I wanted Nasir Adderley so damn bad. And the Chargers took him, which pisses me off, but that's okay. But Juan Thornhill was second on my board next to Darnell Savage. I think he was third, but Darnell Savage was actually a third rounder, which is kind of surprising. But
what?
Darnell Savage, he was actually a first rounder, which is kind of surprising to me.
Okay, I thought you said third, and I'm like,
Did I? I might have said third, but on accident.
Why did he change his number back from 21? That would have been the most selling jersey in the NFL if he kept it as 21.
Savage 21.
But I remember...
Honestly, Jonathan Abram for the Raiders, he's been pretty damn good. He's been better than Juan Thornhill, too. It sucks that he got hurt, but also it doesn't because he plays for the Raiders, but...
They're probably going to trade Carl Joseph pretty soon.
Oh, who's that one dude that the Raiders actually cut that we should take a look at? That one linebacker.
Brandon Marshall.
Let's take him and get rid of Ragland or Hitchens.
You know who's somebody that I think we could get on, a veteran minimum deal?
Who?
Former Tigers Shane Ray.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he even got cut.
Yeah, why not? He has a Chiefs tattoo on his back and he can rush the passer.
Yeah. What if we could, get Frank Clark off the roster and give his contract to Shane Ray? How would that make you feel?
I think he'd be extremely overpaid.
Would he be better than Clark, though?
It depends on the scenario. Shane Ray, if I got him on the team, I'd want him to be a rotational pass rusher.
Yeah. Honestly, I wanted him or Marcus Golden in free agency.
Yeah. Marcus Golden signed a pretty hefty deal, or it was like a 2-year, $15 million deal or something with the Giants.
Yeah, he's actually been playing pretty well too. I think he has like 3 or 4 sacks.
Where's Coney Ely?
I think he's a free agent.
He's either a free agent or with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure he's a free agent. I think his last team was the Jets or something like that.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Here's somebody that might be interesting for us to take a look at if we want to add some defensive help in during the deadline. Another Tiger, Charles Harris.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I said I'll trade a first rounder for Xavier Howard, Albert Wilson-Beck, and Charles Harris right now.
Absolutely. That'd be a steal for us.
Hell yeah.
I'd be fine. I'd like to trade like a first, a third, and like a second next year and just get a bunch of, go on a shopping spree with the Dolphins roster and get like Xavier Howard, Charles Harris, and Mike Gesicki.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Throw in Rashad Jones. Throw in Rashad Jones and Kenyon Drake while you're at it.
Why not? It's not like they're using them. The only person I think they'd have trouble giving up is Kenyon Drake, because they just have, like, Alabama fetish, but...
Yeah, and, who else is that decent receiver they have on their roster, too? Oh, yeah, Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
I would take him.
They also have Allen Hurns, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Kelvin Benjamin's available.
Kelvin Benjamin. He's my favorite Chief of all time.
Give him a biscuit and put him at tight end.
Biscuit.
You remember when Booger McFarland said, "Oh, well, that boy's one biscuit away from being a tight end."
Yeah, he said that. I was watching that game, too.
That's hilarious.
That's probably about the best thing that he's ever said on TV.
He needs to go back, or the Booger Mobile needs to go back to the Division II National Championship, not on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and it's so weird when he's sitting in it, and they put like a little plastic window around each of the angles that he could be shot at.
Is it just because Booger McFarland's too fat to walk through the sideline? Like, what's the purpose of that?
I don't know, and it also blocks the fan's view that he's right in front of.
Like, Monday night, or sideline Monday Night Football tickets are expensive. You don't want to sit there and watch Booger McFarland.
Yeah, in a little glass box on the sideline.
It's so stupid. At least Jason Witten came back, so he's not on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and he's actually been decent.
Speaking of the Cowboys, not really relevant to anything else we've said before, but I just want to throw it out there. What if Tony Romo comes in as a defensive quality control coach for the Chiefs?
You know, I actually said that right after the game. I was like, just hire Tony Romo as a defensive assistant. He doesn't even have to be the coordinator, but just so he can tell us what the heck is going on.
Well, also I hate it when Tony announces our games because we've only won 2 games that he's announced, and I think he announced every game we lost last year. So it'd be nice to get him out of the booth. But, I think defensive quality control coach would be a really good position to have Tony at. A lot of people want him to be the Cowboys' next head coach. But, what if we just offer him a ton of money to come down from the booth? They replace him with, I don't know, Jay Cutler. And then he's just on the sideline next to Spags, and he's just like, "Oh, yeah, they're going to hand this off. Bring a linebacker down." Just something like that.
Let's give him Frank Clark's contract to come out and be our defensive whatever we want to call him.
Defensive quality control coach.
Quality control.
That's a position. Did you know that if there's somebody that they just want to be a coach on the team, they can make up a position?
And just pay him and say they're a coach?
Yeah.
We should do that with Derek Johnson, Tony Romo, Brandon Flowers, just anyone we can get.
I think, I was going to say Tom Bahali, but he's kind of gone insane. But Jamal Charles and Derek Johnson.
Yeah, just have them coach every damn position.
Have Derek Johnson be like an assistant linebackers coach. And, who's the running backs coach now? Because it's not Bieniemy.
It's Dylan McCallum. He was, I think he was at USC before this. He also, kind of off topic, but he had some story about him on E60 or whatever. He was a running back when he was younger. He played at the University of Miami, Ohio, and when he was he didn't have a dad growing up. And whenever he was being recruited by the Miami, Ohio coach, he hit it off with the coach when he was being recruited. And he ended up committing there and playing his entire career there and everything and, loved his head coach. And then long after his career was over, he decided to go looking for his birth parents, only to find out that his coach that recruited him in college was actually his dad the entire time.
Wow. That's wild.
I know.
But I'd welcome Jamal Charles in as a running backs coach. I think he'd do a good job.
Dude, honestly, I would have him come out of retirement just so we could try to get a ring with him.
Yeah. Also, people say Mike Kafka's doing a good enough job, but here's an idea I have. After this season, Eric Bieniemy is probably going to become a head coach, which he deserves it. He's a good coordinator. But, so that will leave a hole at offensive coordinator. I say maybe elevate Mike Kafka there, and then either replace Mike Kafka with Chase Daniel or Alex Smith.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that you're talking about some of our assistants being head coaches, I swear to God, if one more coordinator from the Andy Reid coaching tree ends up winning a Super Bowl before Andy, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Well, when I said Andy needs to go, people are like, oh, who are you going to replace him with? I said Eric Bieniemy. Oh, well, that's stupid, because he's an unproven coordinator. It's not like unproven offensive coordinators from under Andy Reid have ever won the Super Bowl before.
Yeah, really.
First two that come to mind, Doug Peterson and John Harbaugh.
Yeah, Matt Nagy might even win one before him.
With Chase Daniel. Could you imagine if we had that Bears defense?
We could just sit Mahomes out a couple drives and still win.
Heck, not even if we had the defense, but if we just could straight up trade Frank Clark for Khalil Mack.
I would do that. Heartbeat.
Frank Clark for, I don't know, Aaron Donald or even Von Miller.
Dude, yeah, the Von Miller one, I would definitely do that.
Heck, even J.J. Watt. Give me J.J. Watt.
Because, Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack, I feel like they wouldn't give them up straight up for Frank Clark, but if you threw in, a second rounder or something like that, I would do that.
I don't think you could really coax either of them away unless you gave up Mahomes. Like they do probably Donald for Mahomes or Khalil Mack for Mahomes, but I don't think you could do anything outside of that to get him.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine what McVay could do with Mahomes' talent?
Hell of a lot.
I mean, he makes Jared Goff look like a Pro Bowler, so.
Andy's clock is ticking, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't care that he's one of the most innovative coaches of all time. I don't care that he's the second most winning coach of all time. And I don't care that he is the coach that has won the most without getting a Super Bowl. Look what the Broncos did. They fired John Fox very next year with Gary Kubiak that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I feel like we're just wasting our most talented team in team history.
Look at what the Toronto Raptors did. Fired the coach of the year and won a championship. You know, You have to take risks to win championships. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. The Chiefs don't take risks.
Yep, and they have one that they can take with Jalen Ramsey, but they won't pull the trigger.
The Jaguars don't want to give him up.
Probably not.
But we just need to have an offer that absolutely blows them away. I don't care what it is.
I think there was an article this morning saying that the Jags got an offer from a team that had 2 first-rounders, but the Jags thought they would be around pick number 32, so they didn't do the deal. That had to have been us.
All right. Final offer. Right here. Then we'll move on to Mizzou football because I'd like to talk about them for a little bit. Okay. First round pick this year. First round pick next year. Kendall Fuller. And a second round pick next year. Final offer.
If you did that, but took out Fuller or the second round pick, I feel like we wouldn't have to give up both of them. But if you did that, I would be on board.
I'd be completely on board.
Yep, I'd do it.
What else do the Jags need?
Nothing. They think they're still going to contend with or without him. I don't know, let them be deluded.
But, if they have a corner that some people seem to think is capable, like a Fuller or Ward, plus the picks, they should be happy with that,
Yeah.
All right, before we end this, let's get into some Mizzou football. So what do you... I can't remember when the last episode we did was. I think the last one we did was after the Wyoming game.
It was for the Wyoming one, and it was like, what the hell, Mizzou, with the Barry Clown.
Yeah. So since then, what have you thought of the team?
Well, it's been kind of hard to gauge just because pretty much every team they played has been absolute shit, but
they've been better than Wyoming.
Yeah, defense has been so much better, though. I mean, the linebackers all of a sudden can cover. All of a sudden, the safeties can tackle after getting stiff-armed to hell by Sean Chambers. But, yeah, they just look pretty good. Kelly Bryant hasn't been a little bit underwhelming, but it hasn't mattered because everybody else has been playing okay.
Kelly was good for the first 3 weeks, but then he just sucked against South Carolina. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, although he started to run a little bit, which is what I've been wanting to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see him throw it more because I'd like to see him be a quarterback at either the CFL or NFL level. Heck, I'd be fine if his career played out like James Franklin. You remember him?
Dude, he should. He should start for the St. Louis Battlehawks.
That'd be badass. But yeah, James Franklin, former Mizzou quarterback, been pretty successful for the Toronto Argonauts. But looking at the schedule so far, we have Troy next week. That's an easy dub, especially coming off of a bye, and they just got whooped by Alabama.
Yeah, and
or no, I'm thinking
yes.
I'm looking the next week, Mississippi. Yeah, they got whooped by Alabama, but Troy's an easy dub.
Yeah.
And then Mississippi, like I said, just got whooped by Alabama. I'm not scared of the Land Sharks, but
yeah, and then who's the game after that? Is it Kentucky?
Our first road game is Vandy.
Vandy? Vandy's always kind of played us kind of close. Well, not always, but like last year, after they blew out Florida, they almost lost to Vandy, so I'm kind of concerned about that one, but...
It's still the easiest of our road games, because we have a 3-game road stretch, starting with Vandy.
Yeah.
So we play Vandy. I think that game might be close, but I think we're going to win it. And then we go to Kentucky, a Kentucky team that doesn't have their starting quarterback.
And just got the doors blown off of them by South Carolina.
And I think we are going to be pissed off after last year's game, and I think we're going to win that one.
Yeah.
And then the game that everyone's waiting for. Number 3, Georgia.
I would not be surprised if it's a close game and the Tigers end up losing. and I will not be surprised if it's a complete blowout from the beginning.
But you don't think there's any way that we can pull it out?
I don't think. They can win if they want to, but just the fact that they're Mizzou, no.
Kelly Bryant knows how to beat or how to play good teams at least.
That's true.
He's played Alabama a couple times.
Couldn't really do. Drew Lock could, but that narrative about him was kind of unfair. But I feel like Kelly plays to the other team's strengths a little bit better. Drew Lock was just a better pro prospect.
Okay, I'm gonna go off on a little side tangent about Drew Lock for a second, so just bear with me.
Yeah.
I know a lot about Drew Lock's high school days. Drew Lock, when he was in high school, the head coach was horrible. Drew Lock still doesn't know how to really, I don't know how to phrase this, but he really doesn't know how to be a quarterback. He's just kind of going off of his talent right now, and his talent has gotten him to the NFL. But when he was tradition has kind of screwed Drew Lock over. Because when he was in high school, he had the option to transfer to a rival high school that was significantly better at football, but he chose to stay. And the head coach, instead of coaching him, the head coach told Drew Lock to go out there and just do what he wants. He kind of treated Drew Lock like a lot of Chiefs fans treat Mahomes, like he's the best thing since sliced bread and he can do no wrong, and just having him on the team is going to carry the team, which really did not help Drew Lock. And then when it came to decision time, Drew Lock had the option to pick Michigan or Mizzou. Of course, I'm glad he picked Mizzou as a Mizzou fan, but being coached by Barry Odom, well, of course, at the time he was recruited, it was Gary Pinkel, but being coached by Barry Odom versus being coached by John Harbaugh, which is better for your NFL stock?
Probably Harbaugh.
Yeah. And now his head coach is Vic Fangio, and he does not believe in him at all. So, Drew Lock has just been screwed over by coaching since day one. If he would have transferred to the rival high school, we could be seeing a very different Drew Lock right now.
Yeah, and you know what? I remember Harbaugh told Drew Lock that if he went to Missouri, he would never make the NFL.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of was the nail in the coffin to get Drew to go to the NFL, or to go to Mizzou, as he wanted to prove him wrong.
I'm glad he said some asshole thing like that Drew Lock completely made him look like a fool on.
Yeah. But Drew Lock has a lot of what-ifs in his football life so far. So.
Yeah, and it sucks that he's with the Broncos, because even if he starts to do good, I don't know if I can cheer for him.
Yeah, I was sitting there and saying, I'll always be a Chiefs fan, but whoever Drew Lock goes to, I'll get a jersey. But I cannot force myself to buy a Drew Lock Broncos jersey. Like, are you familiar with the site Pristine Auction?
Yeah.
I was leading for an auction for a signed Drew Lock Broncos jersey until like the final seconds, and I was actually happy I lost. Like, I physically cannot force myself to buy a Broncos jersey.
Yeah, it sucks. Hopefully, well, I don't know, not hopefully, but maybe he'll end up like Josh Rosen and get shipped off after like his first year.
Oh, I'd be completely fine with that. I think any situation would be better for him. And who knows, maybe he'll end up like Paxton Lynch and become a journeyman backup, and he'll become Mahomes' backup. That'd be pretty cool.
I would be down.
I might even get a jersey then. But anyway.
I feel like if Drew Lock had Andy Reid, he'd be doing so much better.
Yeah, like maybe after his rookie contract, he comes to Kansas City, signs a 2-year deal. Andy Reid develops him behind Mahomes, and then we trade him to be a franchise guy somewhere else.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
All right, moving on. Here's a game I'm actually excited for. On November 16th, Florida takes on Mizzou, or Mizzou takes on Florida at Faurot Field.
Yeah, I think Florida's been pretty overrated so far, and they lost Felipe Franks, and it's at home. I see no way Mizzou loses that game.
They're ranked number 10. Why?
I don't know. Just like last year, they shouldn't have been ranked as high as they were.
They're not good. And then Florida's like our last real game of the season, because then we host Tennessee and go to Arkansas.
Yeah, and both of those I see as wins. Tennessee's god awful. We own Tennessee. Arkansas, kind of the same story with them. I think Arkansas might even be worse than last year.
I do hate how they have these like stupid forced narratives with Mizzou and trying to force a rivalry between like us and Arkansas and stuff.
I know.
There's no rivalry there.
Yeah, I would much rather, honestly, our rivalry be with Tennessee because I think there's a true hatred for each fan base.
Yeah. But I don't know. Texas A&M would be a better rivalry because we both came from the Big 12.
Arkansas.
Yeah. We could even put a Tiger rivalry between like either us or LSU or us and Auburn.
Yeah.
Just
and
something other than
if you have
kids.
a rivalry with a bigger school like that, and you start to win games against them, it grabs the attention of people. Like, no one cares that we're beating Arkansas every year.
Yeah. And if we want to get the bowl ban released, we have to play really good football against good teams.
Yeah. And not lose to Wyoming.
That game is going to really screw us over come bowl season, assuming we're even allowed to participate.
Yeah. It's just like, no matter, if you could win every game for the rest of the year, and that loss is still going to hang over your head.
Yeah, we could blow out Georgia, but actually blowing out Georgia would be the only thing that could, like, have us be forgiven for that loss.
Yeah. Hold up. Would you rather play in a bowl game this year, but lose to Georgia, or not play in a bowl game and blow out Georgia?
Depends. Do we win the bowl game, and which bowl game is it?
If it's like one of the New Year's Eve 6 bowls.
If we can win one of the New Year's 6 bowls, I would take the New Year's 6 bowl. But if it's going to be like the Bad Boy Motors Bowl, yeah, just give me the Georgia.
Bad Boy Motors Bowl.
Have you seen some of the ridiculous bowl names?
Yeah.
The Bad Boy Motors Bowl is in the Trop, the Rays Stadium.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, I'd rather just stay home.
Honestly, the Memphis one for the Liberty Bowl last year, I actually liked that venue, although it sucked it was raining.
I think they should, I don't know, I think bowl season should become more fun. I don't think, like, Dream Style Stadium or the Trop should host bowl games, but I think there's a lot of stadiums that could host some pretty good bowl games. I think it'd be awesome to have a bowl game at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And then I'd also like to see, what's the Red Sox stadium?
Fenway.
Yeah, Fenway's hosting a bowl game this year. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And speaking of Arrowhead, looks like the forced Mizzou-Arkansas rivalry is going to be at Arrowhead next year.
I'm fine with that, just because that's a much easier drive for me to see a Mizzou game.
And it won't be as crowded as a normal Chiefs game at Arrowhead.
Yeah, because, like we said, who cares, Mizzou, Arkansas?
Yeah.
I just wish there was some way that we could keep the MU-KU rivalry going, because KU has started talking crap because they got Les Miles.
And they've been getting crushed by mediocre Big 12 teams.
Coastal Carolina beat them.
Yeah, that gif with the KU pinata is so funny to me.
Mizzou needs to get one of those. Doesn't even matter the opponent. Break out the KU pinata.
Each game, if they win, just break open a KU pinata, I'm down.
Yeah, but I think, like, if I remember correctly, when the SEC move first happened, I don't think anybody of either fan base was happy. Maybe some KU fans were happy because we were shellacking them every year. But I remember, I think Mizzou tried to reach out to do, like, something that, like what Georgia Tech does, and, like, have an out-of-conference protected rivalry. but KU said no. If you leave Big 12, you lose the rivalry.
Yeah, which is pretty stupid of them.
If both of us make a bowl game somehow, which I want KU to lose, but I'd love to see an MU-KU bowl game.
Yeah, I wonder if the scheduling committee would listen to KU and not have us do it, or if they would make it happen.
Their goal, the scheduling committee's goal should be get the best games possible and games that would have the most viewership. So yeah, that should definitely be one of them instead of putting us against like, I don't know, Arkansas State.
Arkansas State. Yeah, and it's, well, see, the whole thing with, like, Bill Self now, because he does, like, I think he has a word on the scheduling with basketball or whatever, but if he ends up getting banned or whatever it is with the KU violations, or if he ends up leaving the school, I wonder if they would be open to doing the basketball thing with us again.
I think that'd be pretty cool. I know they whooped us last year, but that's because they have a significantly better basketball team than us. But
Yeah.
I'm not concerned. I just like that there's some ways that the rivalry can stay alive, you know?
Yeah, it brings in a lot of money, and if we beat them, even better for us.
I would love to see if we could get a protected rivalry, or a protected rivalry, neutral site rivalry with KU, where every year KU MU at Arrowhead again, because that was just awesome.
Yeah, or Illinois even. I don't know why we don't play Illinois in football anymore.
Shittyville.
Yeah, because their fans talk a bunch of crap, and I know we'd blow them out.
Like, it's just, I love the SEC. I do. The SEC is the best football conference, and I believe that if you're a mid-tier team in the SEC, you're one of the top teams in the entire country because the SEC is the best conference, and I love it. But at the same time, you miss being really good. If you put this exact Mizzou team in the Big 12, it would be the third best team at worst.
Yeah, second or third best team in all the conference.
Because you got Oklahoma and Texas. Heck, we might even be better than Texas.
Yeah.
Like, the only person that would be for sure ahead of us would be Oklahoma.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kelly versus Jalen in a Big 12 championship? Why not?
That would be amazing.
That'd be pretty fun. But instead, if we get a bowl game, we're probably going to get, I don't know, the Texas Bowl again.
Texas Bowl.
I got so pissed off during that game.
Maybe we'll get the Cheez-It Bowl.
Ooh. Or how about the famous Idaho Potato Bowl?
Oh, that would be awful.
No one would watch. I'd be down to play like Boise State in it. The famous Idaho Potato. Or
yeah, it kind of depends on the opponent.
Would you rather play somebody from like the ACC or a Group of 5 team?
Probably ACC.
Yeah, that would look better, but it'd be harder to win. Bowl games are just a big party.
You know what? Speaking of the ACC, how did North Carolina almost beat Clemson?
Clemson should drop in the polls.
Yeah, they really should.
I think they might have. Hold on. Here, let me. Alabama should be number 1. Yeah, Alabama's number 1 now. Life is good.
Yeah, see, I thought Mac Brown was a terrible hire. I still have questions about it, but somehow North Carolina is, like, good.
Yeah. I just want somebody to beat Clemson. I hate Clemson.
They're becoming the new Bama. At first, it was like...
Nope.
At first, for me, it was like, okay, I just want someone to beat Bama. And then now that Clemson's done it, it's like they're the annoying person who won one game, and it's kind of like, okay, it's cool you won, but you can go away now.
Well, Bama is my second favorite college team, And Mizzou's, what? How many times have we been in the national championship conversation? Once?
Twice, I think, like 2007 and what in the 90s or whatever, fifth down.
It was the year with Chase and Oklahoma whooped us. I think we were on a path to a natty that year.
Oh yeah, 2013 or whatever. If we would have just stopped Trey Mason.
Yeah. Being a Mizzou fan is tough.
It's like being a Chiefs fan. It's like any team in the Missouri area is just freaking unlucky as hell.
I guess it's just the small market team. That's another reason I like college football is because when it comes to all the other major sports, you see these like usually the powerhouse teams are like in San Francisco or New York or some of these big markets. But in college football, if it wasn't for the university, would anyone have even heard of Clemson, South Carolina?
Nope.
And I think that's pretty cool that...
Yeah, it is, because like Nebraska and like a lot of those teams where there's nothing else to do, that's what the fans get behind, so it's pretty special to them, and they just have like huge fan bases and turn out to be successful programs.
That's another reason why I really like alternative football leagues and stuff, like the XFL and the AAF. Although I think they're going to the wrong markets, I think like, how cool would it be? Heck, an NFL team could probably succeed in Nebraska, like you said.
Yeah, and that's the reason I'm happy the Rams left now. They left St. Louis.
Yeah. But the Chargers need to leave LA.
Yeah, apparently they're feuding over the stadium already, and it hasn't even been finished being built.
Oh my god. It's shaped like a ram!
The Chargers just got totally bitched in that whole exchange.
Just send them to fucking Oklahoma.
Anywhere but LA.
Yeah, literally anywhere.
Just add a second team to Kansas City in the same division.
It'd be better than LA.
Yep.
I feel like LA is the one city that has no Chargers fans.
I'm not sure LA has NFL fans, honestly.
Like, they get behind USC and UCLA, but...
Yeah.
The thing with the Chargers is they're going to, like, say, oh, the LA move was a great move, for the next, like, 5 years after the stadium's complete. Heck, maybe not even 5, because, you know, the stadium's going to be the hot new thing that people are going to want to come check out, but after that, the Chargers are just going to go back to being the team that people in LA don't even know they have.
It's going to be pretty... Because that stadium is absolutely massive, and it's going to be pretty sad to see how empty it is for Chargers games.
They're going to sell out one game a year, and that's the Raiders game.
And I'm not even sure about that.
LA will forever be a Raiders territory. When I was in LA, I barely saw anybody wearing Rams or Chargers stuff. In 2 trips, I saw 3 guys wearing Rams stuff and 1 guy wearing Chargers stuff.
Yeah, before they made the whole decision or whatever about which team they were going to get on that day in 2016, I remember they did some YouTube video. I forget who it was from, but they went around asking people what team they would want out of the 3, and almost all of them said they wanted the Raiders. Yeah,
it's because LA is Raiders territory. I was walking... There is a Raiders shop in downtown LA that has a big Raiders logo all lit up on it, and it's like in one of the main parts of this one walkway right by Universal Studios. The only place I saw even selling Rams and Chargers stuff was I saw a tiny display that had a couple Chargers hats at the airport. I feel like that shows how pathetic it is. I saw more support for the 3rd soccer team in LA than I did for the Chargers.
Yeah. Honestly, like, even the Rams support, I could see going downhill in a few years as the team isn't as good anymore.
The other thing is, in LA, there's a lot of venues There's the Rose Bowl. There's the Coliseum. They built 2 brand new soccer stadiums. I went in one of them. It was really nice. I went in the Coliseum. It was. People say it's not good enough for NFL football. It's perfect for NFL football. But they picked StubHub, and now they're going to share the Rams digs.
Yep.
Like, I can get over, like, LA having both the Lakers and Clippers because the Clippers are getting their own digs out in Inglewood. And then the Angels have a different stadium than the Dodgers. But why the heck are the Chargers staying in the same stadium as the Rams?
Because they just want to get out of. They wanted to get out of San Diego so bad, so Spanos took. Literally, it was a knee-jerk reaction when he was offered the deal with Stan Kroenke in his new stadium.
They need to somehow back out of that because they got completely digged.
Yeah.
Isn't what's the stadium called? I think it was like referred to as Rams Stadium for a long time before it got its official licensing deal.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to be called.
I think it's like Dignity Sports Health Park or something.
Something like that.
But yeah, at least put the Chargers in the LA Coliseum.
This is fun. I'm thinking of places where you'd put the Chargers.
Oh yeah, I have a whole video planned on doing it. But I won't go into it because I'm still planning on making it. But have a couple teams. But the Chargers. Have you noticed what the Rams chant is when they make a play?
The whose house, Rams house thing?
Yep.
I hate that.
That probably makes the Chargers feel extremely welcome.
Oh yeah, in their own stadium when they play against each other.
I hate the fact that the Giants and Jets share digs, but when I went to New York, I saw people supporting both teams.
Yeah.
I do think that, like, if it was up to me, if I became Commissioner Goodell or something, I would try to get the Giants to play in Yankee Stadium and the Jets to become the New Jersey Jets, because I think the Jersey fans would like it. I noticed that in New York, Giants fans, in New York there's mostly Giants fans, and in Jersey there's mostly Jets fans. But you know what?
Yeah.
Them sharing MetLife Stadium works. This Rams thing isn't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some place to try. They could put the Chargers in the new St. Louis Soccer Stadium.
They made a new St. Louis Soccer Stadium?
Yeah, well, this hasn't been built yet, but they gave them an okay for an MLS team, so they're getting one next year.
How about San Antonio?
That's a place that has wanted a football team for a while, I'm pretty sure.
Did you watch any of the AAF?
A little bit, yeah.
Attendance was horrible, but more people attended the San Antonio Commanders games than attended the Chargers games.
Dude, and that actually has like a nice ring to it, San Antonio Chargers.
I mean, it's almost the same as the San Diego Chargers. I think they burned their bridge in San Diego. But here's my proposal. After the Rams stadium is built, the Chargers should play out the rest of this season, or no. What's the move? The Chargers should play at the Oakland Coliseum until a new home for them can be determined. And some of the candidates should be St. Louis, Sacramento, Portland, Oklahoma City, and Omaha.
Those are all good places.
Except for maybe Sacramento.
I feel like that, yeah, I don't know. But Oklahoma City's that's a good one.
My friend was telling me about when he went to Oklahoma City. He said that he thinks if the Thunder ever left, Oklahoma would get a new capital city just because there is so much Thunder stuff in Oklahoma. Like, apparently Oklahoma City just revolves around the Thunder, and they go so crazy about college football. So I think they'd love to have an NFL team. Plus, they could do a cool cross promotion with the Thunder, have it be like Thunder and Lightning ticket package or something.
Yeah.
I think that'd work out pretty well.
Yeah, looks like you got your idea for your video.
Yeah. Who else do you think should move?
Um, Buccaneers are pretty terrible where they're at.
I like
Nobody in Tampa Bay cares about them.
the Ray J, but yeah. One of the things I said was Jacksonville to Orlando. I'm going to spoil the video, but we're an hour and 30 minutes into it. I'll go more in depth in the video. But one of them I had the Jags going to Orlando. I actually had the Cardinals going back to St. Louis and having
Love that.
having the University of Phoenix Stadium be filled with a revitalized Arizona Hotshots team and the Arizona State Sun Devils. And then, who else did I have? I had the Giants moving into Yankee Stadium. I'm curious, what do you think about that?
Giants moving to Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
I feel like it would be. Yeah, it would be. It probably wouldn't be as good as MetLife or wherever. I think that's what it's called. Wherever they play currently.
Yeah,
but
MetLife.
I think it would be a cool idea.
I just hate the idea of teams that could play each other being in the same stadium. Like, I'd rather have a football team share a stadium with a baseball team than an NFL team share a stadium with another NFL team. Like, I'm completely fine with an NFL team and a college team sharing a stadium, NFL team and a baseball team sharing a stadium, but I don't like the idea of two NFL teams sharing the same stadium.
Yeah.
You know?
It's pretty crazy, honestly, that the Chiefs are going to go to Las Vegas to play in that new stadium in a couple years.
I am already, like, coming up with a vacation plan. I don't know when it's going to be, but someday I am going to attend a Chiefs game in Vegas and then go to a Golden Knights game in the same, like, weekend. Someday it's going to happen, and it's going to be glorious.
Yeah, because that new Las Vegas stadium is going to be probably, I think it's better than that new Rams one that they're building.
Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing, though. Do you think it would have worked out better if, say, the Raiders went to LA, the Rams stayed in St. Louis, and the Chargers went to Vegas?
I think that would be better than what they have going on right now.
Because, like, LA has a team and a half now, and they don't support either of them. And the Raiders have fans that drive from Oakland to come see them, or that drive from LA to come see them play in Oakland, and them going to Nevada. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of putting a football team in Las Vegas. I think it's an untapped sports market that would really thrive, as we've seen with the Golden Knights. But I think that putting the Raiders, such a storied franchise there, maybe isn't necessarily a great idea. I think maybe, I don't know, Rams to Vegas, Raiders to LA, or either Rams to LA, Raiders get a new stadium in Oakland, and Chargers to Las Vegas.
I'd be down.
I feel like y'all would get kind of screwed over still with the Rams leaving St. Louis, but
I've kind of accepted it by now. I think it's better for some of the other teams, but if they say it's just a plus, but then also at the same time, like, Stan Kroenke doesn't want to be in St. Louis, so it's like, why have a team where the owner doesn't even want to be here? Screw it.
But aren't you all still paying taxes on that stadium?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that. What events did they have there? I know they had a craft festival.
Yeah, they're actually renovating it still too, but apparently I forget what events they have there, but they just have a bunch of conventions and stuff. But I heard that they actually make more money now than they ever did with the Rams being in there.
Is it a nice stadium? Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I went to like a preseason game there once. It's okay. It's just so, like, it was fine at the time that they built it, but it's kind of outdated now. But it's still a nice place. Like, if you were to put, like, a pro basketball team in there or something like that, or the XFL team that's probably going to play in there, like, it's pretty good for that.
It's sad that after only 20 years of being a stadium, it's already kind of outdated.
Yeah, It just goes to show how much like more advanced the other stadiums have gotten.
Like Arrowhead is, in my opinion, maybe I'm biased, but it's still one of the best stadiums in the league, and it was built in the '70s.
Yeah, it's definitely probably got one of the best atmospheres in the league. It doesn't have like the premium seating or like I don't know, like cool stuff that some of the other new stadiums have like that. But it's just like it's one of those stadiums that you just can't touch because there's nothing else that can be done to make it better.
The Lions have suites in Ford Field that are designed to replicate a living room so that you can do your at-home routine at the game. I think that's stupid.
I think it's kind of cool, but I seen today that like they have them like they have all those suites like stacked up in one side of the stadium.
Yeah. Uh, but I think the St. Louis Battlehawks are definitely going to be the most successful team in the XFL.
They already had like one of the biggest followings and fan backings.
Yeah. I think the next is probably going to be the Houston Roughnecks. And
Yeah, hopefully the league lasts.
I hope it lasts. I would love to have a 32 team developmental league. Kind of like the NBA G League.
Yeah, and the thing is like, the problem with the AAF is like it was a good product, but the people who made it didn't have the money to keep it going. Vince McMahon has enough money to keep the XFL going.
The problem with a lot of... I've done extensive research on the USFL, World Football League, AAF, XFL. The AAF had the complete opposite problem all the other ones had. All the other ones got like the promotion and everything right, but the football was terrible, so they lost money because of that. The AAF got football right, but they didn't get on any like prime channels. Like the biggest channel they got on was NFL Network.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And there wasn't a lot of advertising. I think there was advertising like where the stadium or where the teams were. And I also think they picked some pretty bad markets like Arizona.
Yeah, it just sucks because I feel like it was a pretty good league.
I liked a lot of it, but they didn't. I'll probably go more in depth in a future video on this, but the XFL made a couple, or not the XFL, the AAF made a couple of really fatal issues. One of them I thought was, of course, the TV thing, but another one that I think they should have done is like for the Birmingham Iron. There's a really nice stadium in Montgomery, Alabama that doesn't have a very big capacity. They should have picked that instead of the Old Gray Lady in Birmingham, because that stadium sucks. There's a lot of capacity, but they don't need a lot of capacity.
Yeah.
They just need nice stadiums. It doesn't matter. Of course, they should try to get like Bryant-Denny Stadium, because that's like an NFL level stadium. But at the same time, if you have to choose between Legion Field or a super nice D2 field that's considered one of the best small school stadiums, you pick the small school stadium because you're not going to get a lot of attendance year one. But the small school stadium will at least give people more reason to come out.
Right.
Like, you want to get a nice stadium to play in.
Yeah, I think it makes it. You also want to get a place that's like where you don't really. It's not known for a lot of other stuff, so it's like it truly is their stadium.
Yeah, the New York team, the XFL New York team escapes me at the moment, but you know they're already going into a stadium that has both the Giants and the Jets. And then they're putting the XFL Wildcats in the StubHub Center. No, that's stupid. Put them in Qualcomm.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea.
Or the Oakland Coliseum. Have the XFL players trip over third base. Well, it's true. Whenever someone takes off on the Raiders field,
Yeah, I'm so glad the Chiefs played their last game there.
it's kind of nice that I've noticed that with the relocation recently, the Chiefs have had a couple pretty significant lasts. Like, they won the last game, the last NFL game that's gonna have baseball dirt in it, and they won the final NFL game in San Diego with the quarterback from San Diego. So I think that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's true. And wasn't that the game that Tyreek returned that one touchdown within his own 5 yard line?
I can't remember. I just remember seeing like this really pathetic kid in the stands that said, "My first Chargers game. Please don't make it my last, Spanos." And then I think that's where the "Fu Spanos" chants first started.
F.U. Spanos. Didn't the better of the two Spanoses die?
Yeah, Alex Spanos died shortly after the move.
That sucks.
And then I also think it's nice that the final football game in San Diego was dominated by Chiefs fans.
Oh yeah, they were all over that place.
And it was a long time ago, but the final Raiders game in Los Angeles was dominated by Chiefs fans. And I think that was the last. I feel like that was the last game that Marcus Allen was a Raider too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I just know Marcus Allen never played for the Oakland Raiders, so that was probably his last year as a Raider. They're in LA his entire tenure.
Yep. Well, you think we should wrap up this episode?
Yeah, we'll probably wrap this up. I don't know. This was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I should probably start doing these more often, but
Yeah, I feel like we came up with a lot of other good subtopics we can make into a whole nother video.
yeah, today was just kind of us spitballing.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty well though.
And peace out, everyone, and go Chiefs.